Hello everyone, for Cieran Newlands build for Wings and Things. Decided to build this model, the one that I did the Throwback Thursday last week. Reason I decided to do this for his build is this is a model that I built when I was 8-9 years old. You know, I had lots of fun building it, playing with it, and you know, still now as an adult, you know, the F-16 is one of my favorite models, as you've seen from some of my videos. So I decided to build this. So let's take a look. I already did the preview, so I already gave you a tour. So here I'm showing you all the sprues. There are 2 sprues, and these are all the pieces. I believe altogether there are 52 pieces altogether, and about half of them are the fuel tanks and the bombs and the racks and the fins for the fuel tanks. So it's not that many pieces here. It's a pretty simple kit, pretty basic. And the way that I would tackle this model is just very easy. Just do a little dry fitting. Now some of these pieces already came off the sprue, so like the main body here. So before I start building, I'm going to do a little test fitting, see how everything fits, and then decide how I'm going to tackle it, how I'm going to paint it. So I'm probably going to put some of it together, paint it, mask it, and do whatever painting work not needed, and then attach the other parts. So just attaching the 2 fuselage halves here. I mean, it's a, you know, for an old 1977 model, I mean, it's a pretty good kit, pretty good fit. Yes, there's going to be some seams here and underneath the wings and so forth. I mean, for this particular build, I'm not going to be too concerned about the seams. Man, like I said in my other video, I wanted to do this, you know, out of the box, you know, like if I had done this back in the late 70s when it first came out. Okay, so I'm gonna pause right now. I'm gonna cut off some of the parts of the sprue and put them together and show you how things dry fit. Right, be right back. Hi, welcome back. It's a few minutes since the last segment, so I cut some of the parts off and dry fitted everything. Some of the parts, the main parts, as you can get the little Tamiya yellow tape there, holding some of the parts together. So from doing this test fitting, I will plan my next steps. So it looks like I might need a little bit of filler here around the nose section, but not too much. A little sanding there along the edge here, between the top and bottom half here along this edge probably. And everything else snaps pretty well in place. I mean, this is a pretty tight fit for the vertical stabilizer, so that's good. Now here at the bottom, I have the intake and the main wheel wells in place. See how everything test fits. So looking at the paint scheme, which I wanted to do, which is the original demonstrator model, at the bottom here, if you take a look at, you see here, oops, let me bring this down a little bit more, calls for this painted strip here at the bottom, which covers just a little pointy part just past the wheel well, the front wheel well, through the wheel covers, a little bit of the main wheel well covers, and down the middle, and the bottom stabilizers there. So what I am going to do, I'm going to just tack fit. I'm not going to actually glue this down. I'm gonna glue this down, but the other things like the wheel well covers, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use a little bit of putty, which is what's holding this right now. I'll just a little bit of blue tack or any type of little similar type of putty, holding them in place while I mask the area that's supposed to be painted, and then that will give me an accurate line for these. Even though these will be open, and if it's not 100% match, you're not going to tell. I just want to make sure I'm as accurate as possible. So that's what I'm going to do. Take the blue tack, attach the wheel well covers, cover up the wheel wells, mask the area that's going to be that blue. Then I can remove that and mask off the white, and then paint the blue there. So I'll get a nice clean blue line there. The reason I'm not going to leave this here is because the fitting here doesn't seem to be 100% accurate, so I'm afraid I might get some bleed through when I paint the area, so I might do it separately. I'll see. I won't actually go to do that. And looking here, you're going to have your red wings. So here, that's going to be all of this. I'll mask off, so I'll use this as a guide to mask off this area going off the edge here. Same thing on the other side. Where the wing pylon is going to match here and here, I'm going to use some of that blue masking agent just to mask up here, so I'll have a clean plastic. Same thing here for the bottom stabilizers, mask that off, so I have a nice clean plastic. I'm sorry. When I go to glue those pieces on. Here, when I go to paint the top part, the vertical stabilizer, I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to mask and paint this totally separately from the rest of the body. So I'm going to have the red, white, and blue on the vertical stabilizer. And then on the top here, I'll make it easier for me to mask for the red. And the same thing, similar as on the bottom. On the top here, you got this blue stripe going down the middle here, meeting up with the vertical stabilizer. And the exhaust nozzle, that will be painted separately, and then I can mask off and then paint the black here in the front. Cockpit, I will paint that separately before gluing the top and bottom together. One other thing to point out, here in my test fitting, I didn't put the pilot in there, but as I can tell by test fitting, the pilot will not fit in there once I have the top half and bottom half attached. So I'm going to make sure that this is painted and ready, and it's in there in place before that is sealed. And then test fitting off the windshield here, canopy. So this I'm going to dip in future, get it nice and glossy, and then I'll mask it off so I can paint the support here. It goes here in the middle. Alright, and that's about it. And just give you a little close up there of the cockpit. So I mean, there's not much details in there, but you know, I mean, for this scale, for this old model, it's not bad. Alright, so I will be back after I have masked this off. All right, thank you. Before I go off and mask, I just want to show you what the plane is. So this, I put most of the parts together. I put the nose on, got the pilot there, as you can see. Got him, paint him up, gonna mask him off. Here on the undercarriage, you see I have these little blue lines here. This is some of that liquid masking agent that I put on there for the pylons that will be attached there later. So once I go to paint it on, I can just peel it off and I'll have clean plastic. Same thing here with the tail. So I'll have clean plastic there to attach the tail, which I'm going to paint separately. Alright, so there she is, and let me go clean this up and mask it off. And well, first let me prime it, and then let the primer dry, and then mask it off and put on the color. Alright, be back. Hi, so here I am with the first masking. So this is the top. I have masked off the area. There's going to be the blue stripe on the bottom. I used Tamiya tape for the edges, so I get a nice clean edge, and then the rest I just use regular blue painter's tape to mask over the other areas. Even though there's a thin stripe, I did put tape all over everything else, just because, you know, you always have some type of overspray, and it's better to be safe than sorry. Tape is relatively inexpensive. So I'll be back after I spray this, and then I'm going to do the same masking job on the top to get the blue stripe, paint that, and then do the wings and the parts which will go red. Same thing with the tail. I have masked off the tail, paint the bottom blue, middle part's going to stay white, and then the top part's going to be red. Right, so be back. Thank you. Oh, hi, and welcome back. I've painted the main colors of the body of the plane. I said before, so I masked off the blue here in the center. Painted that first, then masked off the blue area, painted that second. Then I masked off the red for the wings and the leading edge here. Painted that third. And then finally I masked off and painted the black for the nose here, for the anti-glare. And as I showed you before, already I painted the pilot earlier. Same thing here with the vertical tail. I first painted the blue, masked everything off, and then painted the red. Now I just got to put these together. I do have to do some touch-up work, a little bit of overspray here or there. I did manage to get some overspray here. I don't know what shows up in the camera, but there's a little bit of a blue here in the wheel well, which I'm going to have to clean up a little bit. Then I need to attach the other parts. So my next step is just do a little bit of cleanup work. get it gloss coat on it and do the decals on it, and once decals on it, then I'll do the final assembly of all the pieces, the vertical stabilizers, the rest of the wheels, the ordnance, and the fuel tank and so forth. And the exhaust, which I have to attach still. Alright, so we'll be right back. Hello, I am back. So I have finished the model, did all the painting, all the decaling work, putting all the little bits and parts together, and here you are. So this is the finished model of the F-16 Air Force fighter, the full-scale development plane. Up for 37 years later, I finally completed my kit. So I'll have some pictures of this at the end of this, showing you some closer up so you can see it better. But here you are. I think overall came out okay for a old 37-year-old kit. I did have some issues. One being my fault. When I painted the wings, I also painted the missile rails, the wing tip rails here, red as well, which was not supposed to. I should have masked them off, but I forgot. In trying to correct that, after I did the decaling, I masked it off and painted in white, and then I went off to pull off the tape. I had no problems pulling off the tape on the bottom. I had no problems pulling off any tapes here. When I went to pull off the tape over here, off came the decal. I don't know, I guess I didn't let it dry enough, or I didn't put enough decal solution. I don't know. For whatever reason, this one decal decided to pull off along with the tape, which is unfortunate. I mean, I don't think it looked horrible right now, but it is something which is missing here. These are the actual decals that came with the kit, so these decals are actually 37 years old. Originally, I was not going to use them, figuring they're too old and yellow to use, but they actually, with the exception of this one that I managed to pull off, which is my mistake, they all laid down pretty well without any much issues. They all responded pretty well to the decal solution, as you see. So not bad. I was really surprised. I was going to use some decals from my spares box, mainly because I don't know if you can see here that the bars, it's a little off register where the red is, and you'll see that also here where you have all the flags here. There's a little bit of a misregistration. But when I went to use the ones in my spares for that, they actually broke apart in the water. You can see that they just literally shattered. Totally useless. Well, so much for those spares. But yeah, I managed to actually use the actual one, so I'm impressed by that. I did put a little bit of weathering. I don't know how well it comes out in the camera. Just you can see a little bit of the panel lines here, or the speed brakes here, and then the wheel wells, but not much. I mean, this is all pretty much all raised panel lines, and it is a demonstrator model, so it's not going to be really all that weathered and dirty anyway. So not bad for an old kit. I mean, a few things to point out. I mean, if you look here in the intake here, I mean, there's no details there whatsoever. This just goes, it's just the raw plastic molded inside, and you just see straight through to it, all the way to the back wall of the engine exhaust. So if you're inclined, if you pick up this kit for some nostalgia's sake, maybe you want to do a little bit of scratch building in there. I put some some sheets of styrene just to smooth it out and build it out a little bit so it doesn't look so hollow inside when you look in there. Same thing with the engines. I painted it black in there so you really can't see it, but there might be something you want to do a little bit of detailing, because this is not all that deep. I mean, it only goes as deep as the back here, so in light you could see in there and see some details, but there are no details to see. So everything here you see here, this was actually painted with Vallejo colors, the red and the blue, and then apply the varnish over it. For the exhaust, I used also Vallejo, and then I did a oil wash. Well, it comes out there in the camera for the tail, which I think brings out the pedals there, the exhaust pedals, pretty nicely. Otherwise, it's pretty much straight out of the box. I mean, it's not much to this kit. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward kit. I mean, it was fun. It was fun to actually do this, 37 years later. You know, and the last time I touched this kit, I was about 9 years old, and it's good to get it done. So I'm wondering what you out there haven't have any childhood memories of models that you started and you never really finished, and you have revisited or would like to revisit. You know, back then, you know, this was a pretty nice, awesome kit. Obviously, right now is, you know, a very basic, simple kit. You know, I'm wondering 37 years from now, what today's children would be looking back on modeling. You know, like the high-end Tamiya kits that we look at now, the 137 F16 Tamiya kit, which is, from all accounts, pretty awesome. I mean, will kids 37 years from now be looking back at that kit the way that we look back at these kits from the 70s? You know, what will they have in the future? But it's interesting. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and look forward to everybody else's builds. And take care. So stay tuned after this to see the little slideshow of some of the shots of the finished model. All right, thank you, and take care.